The class of 2025 into the LQHBA Hall of Fame includes longtime horseman Ronald Briley. From a very young age, Ronald Briley was destined to follow his passion with horses. From growing up in the Depression and riding horses on his grandfather's farm in Louisiana, and throughout his training career that saw close to 500 winners who earned over $1.4 million in purses, while capturing 17 combined futurities and derby wins and 5 leading quarter horse training titles for one of the most prolific Louisiana trainers throughout the 60s, 70s, and the 80s.
In the Depression, all this area was a forming community. So everybody formed, and everybody had horses, either for the convenience to ride or to be used on a farm. So on weekends, their entertainment was, after they finished a week of work, their entertainment was to get together a bunch of people and race horses, no matter where. They had few bus tracks around, and they'd go there for their own entertainment. And he developed his love for horses that way. He left one afternoon to go to a racetrack, at a brush track. And he came back with a horse. He bought a horse. His first horse was named Dick East. And he said, I think I can make a little bit of money with him. I saw him run. The owner ran him, and he said, I think I can improve him. So I said, okay. Then, not long after, he found a thoroughbred the same way and started running him. And both of them did well for us. We had, he worked in Bill Platt at Cabot Corbin, and came back one day and said, I think I'm going to quit my job. I said, what? We had small children. He said, I think I can make it as a trainer. I've been thinking about this, and I'm going to try. So we had our little farm, and he decided to start building barns and racetracks and a track to work the horses. And he had a swimming hole dug a swimming hole to swim horses. So we had what we called a training center. We had electric gates where he could teach his horses how to break gates and do that. Due to our location here in Washington, we ran at Evangeline, the old Evangeline in Carencro. That's where we stored it. Then when Delta came, it was too far to go back and forth with the horses we had, so we moved there for 4 or 5 years. We ran there, and we ran the All-American circuit in Ruidoso, New Mexico. We finished third in the All-American Derby, and I think we finished 5th in the championship. That was the best we've done in there. We stayed there until 1980. Came back over. Our daughter was killed in a car accident, and that took everything away from both he and I. And the love of horses had never left him, but it was a hard part of our lives.
Just 1 year after purchasing his first horse, Briley would come across the horse that would essentially put him on the map with the Kansas-bred Go Vicky Myers. This LQHBA Hall of Famer had a standout career in Louisiana, as she made 38 starts between 1968 and 1970, winning 22 races, including 11 of them being stakes.
They had a sale in Oklahoma, Bob Moore and Mel Hatley, and I looked at the book, and I really liked another one, a yearling, but she went for $22,000, and I couldn't do it. In 1968, I went to that sale in Oklahoma, Norman, Oklahoma, and I gave $1,900 for the filly. And good, I said, well, I can run that mare for $1,500 at Evangeline and win, you know. But she turned out a lot better than $1,500, you know, claiming.
Go Vicky Myers had 38 starts between 1968 and 1970, winning 22 of those races, including 11 stakes races, such as the Acadian Classic Handicap and the Donald Gardner Sr. Memorial Handicap.
Knowing what was Dad's favorite horse, I would say Go Vicky Myers. And mainly because he found her, he bought her, he brought her home, he trained her, and she made a world of difference in the horse racing community, especially in the quarter horse racing way back when. And she broke track records, still holds one to this day if I'm not mistaken. But that horse made my dad. People would come out to the races just to see that horse race, because that's how spectacular she was.
She just was a horse that she was really the only horse they ever compared to Man of War. That a lot of people didn't know that, but Go Vicky Mars was compared in the racing books years ago, comparable to Man of War in the way she would run. She wouldn't give up. I've seen her, we were over there at Evangeline Downs, and I think we were running the 300 but it was raining that night. She broke so hard, she fell on her side, ended up setting a track record. She was just she was really a horse that, she was like a freak of nature, just unbelievable.
Ronald Briley's pursuit of becoming the best horseman possible to apply his trade was evident as he would continually read everything horse-related he could get his hands on, according to his family.
As I grew in life, I learned that how my dad learned the structural shapes of horses, bone density, how a horse should be put together for a racing aspect, from being the athlete a horse needs to be able to compete on the level that my dad trained.
It was easy for him to walk up to a horse and know and look at a horse and understand how it walked, how its manner was, and what he needed to do to make it better. We followed his lead, especially my brothers. They were very, followed Dad's lead. That taught them more. The girls were more of, okay, we did a lot of cleaning at the end of, we had a 60 stall barn. So on Saturdays, we didn't know what a cartoon was. The boys were always shoveling. We came in at the end after our chores, helping out, but mostly washing water buckets.
Daddy, whenever he first came into racing, he told me knowledge was the key to winning races and key to training a horse. The more you learn about a horse and their aspects of how they could be, they would run for you. He learned about every bone in a horse's body. He could tell you everything of how long their ears should be, throat latches, nose. The opening of a nose was something that amazed me. I'd ask Daddy when we would go to the horse sale, he would say, you see this horse's nose, how small it is? Can't take in air. He said, you want a horse with a good nose, good legs, and everything else that it would fall in place with each.
My father knows everything structurally about a horse from inside out with just a high school education. There's times I spent with him when we had to run up to LSU to the veterinary clinic because they were having issues with horses, and they would call him to come in to consult because they couldn't put their fingers on it, and he would do that for them. And he would devote his time to anything to the betterment of the horsing industry.
In his feed program of a horse, whatever you put into their feed, you're going to get back out of it. Whatever you put into a horse, it'll come back to you. If you don't put nothing into it, your don't expect much out of a horse. But if you give a horse all his 100% of it, he'll give it to you.
He was competitive. He loved horses. He knew what a good horse looked like. He could look at the formation of that horse and say, yeah, this one's going to run. And it was amazing to watch his talent. It really was. And to experience that growing up and seeing all the different people that he affected all his life and taught about horses, that I look at this day and age and they're now successful. So not only did he teach us, my siblings, especially my brothers that were really helpful to him in the horse industry, but to watch him do what he did, it was pretty amazing.
With the pile of accolades and accomplishments and training titles in his career, one thing is not lost in the shuffle on the level of importance Ronald felt in his life, and that was his family.
Dad was always very quiet at home. Loved his children, loved family, never raised his voice at us, especially the girls. He was very low-key. Going to the racetrack, always told us what we needed to do, how to behave and how to act, and we followed what he told us to do. Taught us how to be very humble in anything that we received. We were never a luxurious family. We always worked hard, and we were just very humble people.
The people saw what kind of person he was, what kind of trainer he was. Being inducted into the Hall of Fame, all his hard work. Family, friends, owners, they all loved him.
Because his love and that's all he ever wanted to do. Not many people can do that, can do what they truly loved, and he did that.
Being inducted into the Hall of Fame is a long time coming for him. I think it should have happened quite some time ago, especially what he's brought to the table for the state of Louisiana through horse racing. He's built it up, and his legacy will live for quite some time. He still retains track records that have not been broken since the early 70s, and I'm just very proud of him.
And he would be very proud and honored to have received this award because he put a lot of work into it. It was his passion. He was so proud of it. But he was very fortunate to do something he truly loved.
To watch everything that he put into, to work so hard, to not only give to us, but to give back to the community and into the horsing community, that he would be so very proud and so humble. And I'm very proud of him. The only regret is that I wish he was here.
But he would love to have been able to accept this in his own hands instead of his children. But I just would like to thank everybody.
The LQHBA is proud to announce its newest inductee into the Hall of Fame, longtime Louisiana horseman, Ronald Briley.